It's coffee with the Mighty Miracleman time. So, would you introduce yourself and what you do for work, please?
Absolutely. So my name is Danielle Mathews, and I partner with a biotech company called ASEA, and I help educate people about their discovery. It's something that changed my life, and so I've been blessed to pass it along and help change lots of other people's around the world. It's something I've been doing for the last 8 years. And
That's wonderful. Would you please tell us how this has impacted your life? Like, what's your backstory?
of course, so I suffered a brain injury in a car accident. I was hit by a drunk driver, and I in that accident, I walked away. I looked okay. Um, they just told me I was in shock. I kept saying that I didn't feel right. I couldn't think clearly. I was really sensitive to things. I felt dizzy, and they told me I was in shock. But in the weeks that followed, I ended up going to more doctors and getting the diagnosis of a mild traumatic brain injury, which, as you know well, there is a scale of brain injury. And
Recently, they've done away with mild traumatic brain injury because there's really no such thing, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I always laughed. I remember saying to my doctor, like, mild traumatic brain injury. That sounds like an oxymoron. Like, there's nothing mild about this. I was blessed that,
Exactly.
yeah, I was blessed that I wasn't in a coma. I mean, I was blessed in a lot of ways with the type of injury I had, but it was stopping me from being able to live life as I used to. So it was, a total turnaround of my world. I was 23 years old. I was unable to work, which meant I was unable to earn an income. So I couldn't live on my own anymore. I ended up having to move in with my parents, and it was just full time kind of focused on trying to get me healthy. And doctors told me about a year in that this was just my new normal. And they told me to just kind of accept my life as it was and the symptoms as they were. And I was dealing with severe migraines, sensitivity to noise and light, an inability to focus for extended periods. I would try to get the words out sometimes and I couldn't get them out. So my processing speed was delayed. And I remember thinking when my doctor said that to me, like, there's no way, this is going to be my life. And there's going to be answers. And so we kept searching and we kept looking. And ultimately, it was the ASEA redox that was brought to my family through an acupuncturist that knew what was going on with me. And she'd started using it in her practice. And she said, I think that this could help Danielle. And I wasn't so convinced. I thought it sounded a little bit too good to be true. But ultimately, after about 6 months, my parents said, look, we've researched this stuff. It cannot hurt you. It might help you. And, why not give it a go? Give it 6 months and see what it does and how it can assist your body. And that ended up being, I believe, one of the biggest answers in my path to, helping myself reestablish my health, and is what I've been able to carry on and bless a lot of other people's lives with as well.
Absolutely. It sounds like we have very similar but slightly different stories, as I'm sure you know. Like, I spent 4 months in a coma, so severe traumatic brain injury, but
Yes.
a brain injury is a brain injury. I had stopped making progress in physical therapy, and my physical therapist, Sean Burke, bless him, saw that I was frustrated with that and invited my father and I to a meeting for something called the SEA. I had no idea how much it would change my life.
I know. We both been blessed. It's like I call them miracle little molecules, they just work their blessing in your body
Absolutely.
and help you repair where you need. And for you and I both, it was with our brains. And it's just remarkable, you know, it's remarkable to see. I think you're similar to me in that, like, it wasn't immediate, everything that came back online, but as I've stayed on this, you know, more and
Yes.
more and more started to repair. And I feel like I did before my accident now, which I feel very blessed to be in that space. And, you know, I've watched you have massive improvements also.
Yes, like you're one of the very few people who agrees with me that we don't have to accept this new normal. I'm better than I was before. Maybe not physically, but for sure mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
Like I'm so much more understanding now.
Yes. I agree completely. I think, you know, when you go through something, I talk a lot, Brendan, about post-traumatic growth, which is a beautiful concept where when you go through a trauma in your life, like the accident you had in the coma and my accident, and
Yes.
it pulls you so far away from the life you had known and everything that you knew to be true. And it makes you deeply reflect on, well, what's important. And it makes you have a different perspective on on life when you realize tomorrow's not guaranteed, and today is really all I have, and today I should make the most of today within myself. You know, I need to regulate my emotions and see how I can be happy. And it makes you also audit what you're spending your time doing, you know, who you're with, how you're serving
Exactly.
in the world. And this concept of post-traumatic growth, a lot of people, you fall into this category too, that have been through an intense trauma are able to come out on the other side, and they're able to just have a much more grounded view. uh they're, as you said, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, often much more solid, resilient. And it's a beautiful thing. And they say, you know what, it's because of my accident, and in fact it's because of the trauma, and I'm grateful
Yes.
that I went through that experience, you know.
The
Perhaps.
Stoics have a few different things that relate to this. Memento mori, for example, we're all going to die eventually, so basically make the most of what you have now and no more Vanti. Fall in love with what fate hands you. It happens for you, not to you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I get the daily Stoic emails. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. And you know, that philosophy, it's so true. And I think there's a lot of people through the ages that have contemplated things, right? You and I aren't the first to have contemplated
Yeah.
these bigger questions in life and having these realizations, but each person has to go on their own journey. I believe that's why our souls are
Uh,
here, is to go through and have these
Absolutely.
realizations. Yeah.
And I think that's what you talk about on your YouTube channel.
I talk about it often on all of my social media because I feel
Yes.
that this is a message that needs to be out there. You know, I believe that everyone understands PTSD. They understand that people go through trauma and there's intense things in life. And there's a sympathy and empathy towards that. But I believe that the focus should be on the growth that comes from trauma and the growth that comes from going through the hard things, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual growth. I think everyone is very accustomed, and I'm looking at the back of your photo there with working out. Like, we're used to going to the gym and doing hard things so that we get stronger. Like, it's a no-brainer. We know
Yes.
we have to do that. But in life, we kind of shy away from hard things. And because of that, we're not as mentally, emotionally, and spiritually strong as we could be. But when you go through the tough times, that's what really makes you, right? It makes you stronger. It makes you have a resiliency within you that then allows you to face the next thing that happens in life and not get as, you know, blown over by it, right? It's like the roots of the tree. Your roots are much deeper after you go through a
Yes.
tough time. It takes a lot more to sway you or to make you fall down in life when you've gone through something like that.
So self-plug time. What is your YouTube channel called? And what are your social media so people can follow you?
Yeah, my name, it's Danielle Mathews, and my Instagram handle is just that. It's just my name with an underscore at the beginning and the end. On YouTube, it's just Danielle Mathews channel. You can find me. And same with TikTok, and I'm on Facebook, all the places, just getting the word out there. I just, to me, it's like we need to, I believe, uh, be a positive light in the world. I look at it like with my social media, I just want it to be a lighthouse, a beacon, to show people what is possible, to keep them looking up as they're going through dark times. And,
Yes.
I think when you have a dark night is when you need the lighthouse when
Mm.
you're out there. So I hope to be that for people. And often, I share what I need to hear. I share the lessons that I want to remind myself of, because life is, it's constantly throwing things at us. And if we don't learn the lessons, it'll keep throwing harder and harder things at us until we really, really learn. So hopefully, what I
Exactly.
share can bless people.
And so what's one thing, just one that you want to leave people with, either
One thought.
about you or ASEA?
Well, one thought I would leave people with, I actually have this up. I think it's on my Facebook account. It's the question, what is this challenge making possible? And I think if you look at the difficulties in life as gifts from the divine that are making something possible for you, making you learn a lesson, making you look at life differently, everything is unfolding for your benefit. I think you probably have that perspective, having gone through what you did. And, we can
More
look back and see the
party.
blessing.
And things happen for you, not to you.
Yeah, it's so empowering. Like I see the smile on your face. I'm like, you get it. Like,
Yes.
and when you get it, you get it. There's a spark of life, I think, that comes in you when you're like, it's like your soul is liberated. It's like you realize, like, oh my gosh, all of this is a playground for me, for my development, for me to learn more. Like everything is unfolding for that benefit. And when you have that, like that spark of life that I see in your eyes and that I can feel in your heart, it's like you're never going to lose that. Like you've identified that through what you've been through, and you're going to carry it, and you're also going to be a beacon of light for other people. And it's a beautiful thing, but it takes,
Yes.
the quality of your life will be a reflection of the quality of the questions that you ask. And so you got to ask different questions when things start to come into your world that maybe don't seem right, or they're not your preference, or you wouldn't expect it. Just, well, why is this happening? What blessing could this be bringing? How could this be a good thing? And you'll start to get different answers. And that would be what the one thing I would leave people with.
Absolutely. Like, I believe Jesus Christ is God, and he doesn't cause bad things, but he lets them happen for our growth. Like my accident, I'm sure you relate to this. It happened to empower us to help other people.
Yes. Amen. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I'm so glad you agree. Mm. Well, thank you for your time, Danielle. I know you're a busy woman.
Oh, well, I'm happy to be here. I am always grateful to connect with you. I think you are a light of inspiration, and I'm glad that you're doing this show and getting your voice out there and your message out there. Thanks for having me on.
And I'm also glad that you are a beacon of light in this dark world.
And that's the one thing we can leave everybody with. I think,
Yes,
you and I haven't gone through intense things. It's like if we can have that perspective, surely people can understand and see that, everything in life is a blessing, and expect miracles from it.
yes.
That's what it's there for.